Hello, everyone, and welcome to GED Grad Day 2023. We'll wait about 10 to 15 more seconds to get started as folks log in. But if you'd like to, please feel free to add into the chat where you are viewing from today and who you are viewing with, when you got your GED, and share that with everyone who's tuning in today. We'll get started here in just about 10 to 15 seconds. And if you're just joining us, I had mentioned, please feel free to add in the chat where you're watching from, who you're watching with, when you got your GED, so you can see all of your peers, where they're joining from, and when they achieve their credential as well. All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone to GED Grad Day 2023. My name is Victoria Velez, and I am the Director of Marketing at GED Testing Service. On behalf of all the staff at GED Testing Service and our educator and administrator network, we want to thank you for joining us today for our first ever virtual commencement ceremony. And we want to congratulate you on the achievement of your GED credential. We recognize that getting to this point may not have been very easy. Many of you made the commitment to go back to get your GED while working full-time, raising a family, or taking care of your parents. Some of you got your GED because the traditional high school environment didn't best suit you to succeed. Regardless of your why, you got to this point and you did it, and you should be incredibly proud of yourself. We created GED Grad Day as a way to celebrate your achievement. Whether you were a self-paced student or you were enrolled in an adult education center, your journey is uniquely yours and deserves to be celebrated. And while we can't provide you with a stage to walk across today, our hope is that this virtual ceremony provides you with the same sentiment of pride, and that today's ceremony is only one of many ways that you're celebrating your achievement. And if you are a current or prospective student joining us today, we hope that today's speeches, stories, and video inspire you to keep working towards your GED. And we can't wait to celebrate your achievement next year. We've created a wall of love, which I'll add right here for viewing, so that you can send written and video messages to each other in celebration of your achievement. Visit ged.com/wall of love to submit your shout out, and be sure to check the page later to share more love. And now I'd like to introduce you to Vicki Green, the CEO of GED Testing Service, for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Victoria, and hello, GED grads. Congratulations. I'm so incredibly proud to be here today at our virtual GED ceremony to recognize and celebrate your achievements. I've been working at GED Testing Service for 12 years now, and each and every year I'm more and more inspired and touched by your stories. This past year has been very different. Through the Facebook graduate group, you all created and fostered a community that we've never seen before. Your messages of encouragement and congratulations to each other are so heartwarming. While you've been posting and celebrating your successes, you've also been encouraging and helping so many of our current learners too. You're all a living testament that no matter what your circumstances, if you work hard for something, you can achieve it. I hope each and every one of you feel proud of what you've gone through to get here. Keep going after your dreams. You've proven that you can achieve anything. All the best to you, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much, Vicki. And now I am thrilled to introduce to you our commencement speaker for today's ceremony. Dr. Rolandus R. Rice is a thought leader, orator, professor, and university administrator. His own journey from getting his GED credential to his PhD degree has inspired thousands of students. Dr. Rice graduated from DeVry University with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, magna cum laude. He then earned a Master of Arts in History from Alabama State University and the Doctor of Philosophy and History from Auburn University, the first GED recipient to earn a PhD in Auburn's 166-year history. As a university leader, Dr. Rice was appointed the Dean of Humanities and Fine Arts at Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama, at the age of 33. He is one of the youngest academic deans at an accredited 4-year institution in the United States. Furthermore, as the president and CEO of the Dapper Dean Education Empowerment Firm, Dr. Rice sees the world as a global classroom and grooming ground for greatness. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our very first GED Grad Day commencement speaker, Dr. Rolandus R. Rice.
Good morning. I am honored to have the opportunity to speak with you a few moments about my journey from a high school dropout to a PhD recipient. But before I begin, I must thank Victoria, Ms. Adora Beard, and all of her colleagues at GED Testing Services. They truly embody servant leadership and a commitment to lifting others as they climb. I am thrilled by the opportunity to speak with you as you embark on your new journey. You should give yourself a virtual round of applause or pat yourself on your back. You have accomplished what so many others said that you could not do. With this singular accomplishment, you have given you, your family, and generations unborn a chance at many different opportunities. I do not want you to think that today is a period that ends the sentence of your academic journey, but a comma that continues it to a much loftier significance. When it's all said and done, you want to end your academic journey with an exclamation point. Now, Victoria shared some of my professional and academic accomplishments with you. I currently serve as the Chief Operating Officer at Tuskegee University, of course, founded by Booker T. Washington in 1881 and professional home to George Washington Carver, and as you all know, the birthplace of the Tuskegee Airmen. Victoria mentioned in my introduction that I have served as a professor and academic dean, but obviously my journey, like yours, was unplanned, and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life after I made some choices that I have since regretted. Many people say, well, Rice or Rolandus Rice, why did you drop out? I started with falling behind in my classes when I was attending Columbia High School in Decatur, Georgia. I was teased every day because my clothes were old and my shoes were dirty because I had to walk almost a mile every day. I felt that I had been given a bad hand. Some of you all may think that you too have been given a bad hand, but my friends were well dressed. Many had two parents, a mother and a father in the home. My mom was struggling while trying to raise two boys on her own. So I started skipping school as I did not feel that I belonged at Columbia High School. I skipped so many classes that during my 9th grade year, my grade in the classes was higher or lower rather than the number of absences that I had. So that tells you I didn't take school seriously. I had a 1 in biology and a 32 in driver's ed. I didn't know it then, but my rejection was preparing me for my redirection. So my mother moved to Lithonia, Georgia, which is about 20 minutes from downtown Atlanta. And she enrolled us in Lithonia High School. And although it was a better environment, my grades and attitude toward life simply had not changed. I didn't skip school as much, true enough, but I was already behind from the year before at Columbia High School. So as a result, I was retained or kept back in the 9th grade while the new friends I met at my new school were being promoted. So each year I remained a grade behind my classmates, and they knew it. But the breaking point happened in 2000 when my younger brother, Roundel, who was 3 years my junior, we were on the same roster for a ninth grade English class. So I quit. I officially dropped out on October 5th, 2000. I didn't know what my plans were moving forward, but my mother never accepted the fact that I had given up on school. She told me that, Roland, which is my nickname at home, Roland, you have to get a job and make some contributions. So true story, I started washing dishes at restaurants, pulling orders from warehouses, and changing tires at a place called National Tire and Battery, which I believe now is Tires Plus. All of this work had merit and value, but I knew that I could do something differently. This was my real commencement, a new beginning. It exhilarated for me when my car was repossessed, my girlfriend dumped me, and my mother kicked me out of the house all within 24 to 48 hours. I knew that I had to make different choices. I didn't have a car, so I relied on my grandmother to loan me money to ride the public transportation system in Metro Atlanta to and from my GED classes. But I would never forget the call I received from the DeKalb Technical Institute in Decatur, Georgia, in May of 2002, that I had passed all 5 sections of the GED exam. I knew then, like you know now, that the world is waiting for you. I'll say it again. As I said earlier, my earlier rejection prepared me for this redirection. And I didn't know it then, but as I was learning and growing, I believed that I was on this earth for a particular purpose. And many of my students ask, well, Dr. Rice, did you ever plan to go to college? The answer is unequivocally no. I had no intentions. I only enrolled in college to impress the girlfriend who had broke up with me. What I did not share earlier was that she dumped me because I was not being honest about my high school graduation status. And she found out. She was crushed. I was crushed. I knew then that some things had to be different. And as quiet as it is kept, I only attempted to attend college just so she could see that I tried. My plan was to drop out and leave college after only 1 semester so that I could find a job, buy me a car, and find a place to rent in Metro Atlanta. Then I realized something. I realized that I was actually smart. And if I studied, there was nothing that I could not accomplish. 3.5 years later, I earned the baccalaureate degree from DeVry University in the area of business administration, magna cum laude. So I had a 3.8. So who would have thought that 3 years earlier, a high school dropout, washing dishes, but graduating at the very top of the graduating class? I was blown away. But I realized that in all of that excitement, that degree was not my purpose in life. I enrolled at Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama, to study for the master's degree in history. Now this was an ironic choice because my background was in business, but I never ever had any academic experience in the area of history. I didn't know much beyond Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King Jr., but my professor, Dr. Dorothy Autry, who was the first African-American woman to earn a PhD in the discipline of history from Notre Dame, she mentored me, taught me how to write, and said, Rolandus, you are here for a reason. It is not a matter of happenstance that you are working toward this degree at the university at the heart of the modern civil rights movement. And this was a watershed experience in my life. And I will also share with you that I have to thank the GED instructors and the GED exam itself, because of all of those sections, I scored the highest in social studies. So that exam on the GED, or the GED rather, was my roadmap and my template in some ways to get to where I am. If I had not taken that test, I would not have known what my academic strengths were. So as you have taken your respective exams, look and see where you scored, how high you scored. Maybe that is a lesson or a reminder that you should be pursuing what the exam says that your strengths are. So please take note of that. But after finishing the master's degree at Alabama State University, I enrolled about 30 minutes up the road at Auburn University to study for the PhD in the discipline of history. And at that time, I was the only African-American in the program to work toward a PhD during that particular period. The challenge happens for me when my daughter's mother, Julia Player, died without any warning on May 22nd, 2010. My daughter Madison was only 4 months old. She was still teething. She was still being nursed at the breast of her mother. So I was trying to find a way to ensure that she's being fed, not understanding that her mother would not be coming back, while also reading 3 and 4 books a week, writing book reports every week, commuting 45 or 50 miles every day when I didn't have gas, coming back home sometimes when my lights were off, looking into the refrigerator, only seeing baby food and no food for me to eat. It was a struggle, but so thankful that struggle made me into the man and father that I am. Now, everyone was being sympathetic. They said, well, Roland, again, my nickname at home was Roland, send Madison to Atlanta. Everybody would understand. You are just a father. And at the time, I didn't know how to make a bottle. I didn't know how to change a pamper, but I knew that this little girl needed me. I knew that I could not do to this little girl what my father did to my mother and I. So I had to be there. And I never will forget it. I was sitting on the sofa and Madison's godparents said, well, Ro, I think you're tapping out too fast. I think you can do this. And so Madison remained with me, even though my entire family were living in Atlanta at the time. So I toughed it out, many, many tough nights, studying until 5 a.m. in the morning, waking up at 6, getting a baby ready, taking her to school, driving to Auburn, then driving to work. At one point, I was working 3 jobs and a PhD student at one time. I got so sick that the doctor said, well, son, if you don't slow down, you are going to kill yourself. I came down with pneumonia, shingles. And at the time, I had not reached 30 years old. And so I had to make some very difficult decisions. So I thank Ms. Violet Wiggum, who is no longer with us. She was an amazing grandmother to Madison, and also her daughter, Major April Ducksworth, angels to assist me in my darkest hour. So I shared that with you all so no one would have the opinion that I didn't have help along the way. There is no such thing as a self-made man or a self-made woman. Everybody at some point has had to have assistance on their intellectual, professional, or spiritual journeys. So I finally finished for the PhD in 2015. And at that time, the second African-American to earn the PhD in the discipline of history, and the first person, regardless of race or gender, with the GED to earn the PhD. And I share that with you so that you all know it's okay to be the first. It's okay to be second. It's okay to be last, as long as you don't stop. There's a quote that says that direction is more important than speed. So no matter how slow or how fast you go, as long as you are moving in the right direction. And I tell my students, if they make a grade on an exam that they wish that they could take back, my constant remark to them is this: you are always in the right position to move in the right direction. I hope that the story has inspired you, but I want you to know I'm not special, nor am I smarter than anybody else. Everyone can make contributions to the intellectual gumbo in whatever environment that you are in. And I want you all to understand that whatever I accomplished, you all can do far greater than what I've been able to do. Understand that in each of you, there is something special, something unique, and you have beat the first obstacle. You've earned the GED, and now so many opportunities can flow your way. But I want to leave you with three things, and three things only. My rejection really did prepare me for my redirection. The same girl who dumped me is now my wife. Her name is Dana, and we now have 3 children together, 4 overall. And again, it's all because my tragedy, my redirection was the result of the trials and the triumphs. Number 2, second, when life presents you with a 15-foot wall, you must have the strength and endurance to climb a 16-foot ladder. What does that mean? In other words, you must find a way to neutralize the obstacles. If I attended Clark Atlanta University, I would lean on their motto when it says either find a way or make a way. In this life, you have to find a way and to make a way. Third and last, I do not apologize for being a man of faith. I learned to lean on God because the tough times showed me that he and his will was all that I had. It is okay to appeal to a higher power when you know that you are in need. But as I close, remember to live your life on purpose. One of my favorite movies is Sister Act 2. And I can recall a scene in which Whoopi Goldberg's character is talking to Lauryn Hill's character. Whoopi Goldberg was the music teacher. Lauryn Hill was the star singer in the community chorus or the college chorus or whatever. And the lesson in that for me, there was a scene in which they were getting onto a bus. And Whoopi Goldberg is saying to Lauryn Hill's character, well, Rita, if you feel like singing, if singing is the first thing you feel like you want to do when you wake up, then you are supposed to sing. The lesson for that, and that lesson for all of us is this. If something consumes us, if it's all that we think about, we should leverage that for our good, for our benefit, and for the benefit of those around us. Dr. King said it best, that every man can be great because every man can serve. Whatever you do it so well that those who were born, those who are living, and those who are yet to be born could not do it any better. That is the lesson for all of us. Whatever we do it at your very best. Again, congratulations. And I would love to see some of you on the hallowed campus of Tuskegee University. Again, congratulations. Proud of you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rice. Your story is truly inspirational, and I have no doubt that you have motivated some of our graduates today to follow your path from a GED to a PhD. Thank you again. And now we'll move on to the student portion of our program. We put out a call for student speakers a few months ago and received hundreds of submissions. The selection committee truly had a tough time narrowing it down to 3 student speakers. Thank you so much to every single person who submitted and shared their stories. And now I'd like to introduce you to our first student speaker, Fina.
Hi everyone, my name is Fina Mvula. I was born in Congo, raised in South Africa. I am married for 16 years this year. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful young girls. My hobbies include traveling, discovering new places. I love cooking. I also enjoy exercising. I'm a hard-working woman, but I do love some me time. The reason why I decided to take GED was primarily so that I could register for college. Also, as an immigrant in the US, I wanted to know how schooling works here. And as a mother, I wanted to be a good example for my children. I wanted to look them in the eyes and tell them I got my high school diploma, so y'all have no reason not to get it. My GED journey had a lot of ups and downs. The registration and orientation process was pretty easy. The staff taught me everything that I had to do. At first, I started with online classes because it was my best option. It was my best option because I was working, and as a mom, I had other tasks to do at home. Studying online helped me multitask and study at my own pace, and that was convenient for me at that time. My main obstacle was with math. I struggled with math because it was just not my favorite subject when I was growing up. After failing multiple times, I almost quit. My teachers, Miss Lisa and Mr. Otis, were really helpful. Miss Lisa suggested that I take on in-person classes for a few weeks before retaking the math test. When I was doing one-on-one classes, I received so much help. I remember what got me started with my journey at first, and I got inspired to carry on. My husband and children were also a great motivation for me. My plan now that I got my GED is to register for nursing school, which I've already started with my prerequisites at Gaston College. My goal is to become a travel RN so that one day I can be able to travel back to my country and help my people. My advice to people who want to earn their GED is it's never too late to turn your life around for the good. Don't be afraid to start over, because sometimes things that we are afraid of, it has the most opportunities. As advice for students, I encourage you to get out of your comfort zone, start your GED journey, and be serious and dedicate your time to do it. People might say, oh, it's just GED, but for me, accomplishing this gave me a sense of accomplishment, and it's the best feeling ever. This quote by Confucius kept me going. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Again, my name is Fina Mvula. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Fina, for sharing your story. I love that you're an immigrant who values education and that you want to show your children that anything is possible. And I'm sure they are extremely proud of you. Next, we have Katie.
Hi, my name is Katie Kammerzink. I'm 29 years old from the Houston, Texas area. My GED story is a little different than most. I dropped out of high school my junior year, which was 2011. Shortly after dropping out, I married my best friend and the love of my life. I had always meant to get my GED, but between life and starting a family, more time had passed than I had hoped, and it slipped through the cracks. Until the summer of 2021, when I randomly decided that I wanted to prove to myself that I could pass the GED test. I bought some books on Amazon to start studying. Shortly after, my 3 girls and I came down with COVID-19. My husband was the last of us to get it, and in August, about 3 weeks after he tested positive, our world was completely turned upside down when my husband, Richard Zachary Kammerzink, passed away from COVID complications and took his first breath in heaven. I say his name because I wouldn't be in the spot I am today if it weren't for him, and he deserves to be remembered for all that he was here on earth and for the why behind my story. He was our sole provider. I never worked because I didn't have to, and even if I needed to, in the nearly 10 years that we were married, I didn't have my GED to be able to find a job. I was a 27-year-old widow with 3 small girls, trying to figure out what had just happened and how we were going to make it through life without my husband, best friend, and father to my girls. The last thing I wanted to talk about while grieving was how I was going to be the primary provider for my kids. Just thinking about it really just sent my mind into a whirlwind. In October of 2022, I finally felt like I had a clear enough mind, and I set myself up to tackle this and pass it. I used the study questions and practice tests on the website to the best of my ability, and I surprised myself greatly when I passed the practice test all on the first try. Even though it was very nerve-wracking, God really provided me with so much peace about the entire situation from start to finish. It was recommended that if you pass the practice test on the website, to go ahead and schedule with the testing center to take the actual exam, so that was my next step. I took two test subjects at a time and passed all 4 of them. I still feel like I'm in a dream when I say those words. I passed all 4 GED test subjects. Currently, I'm in the medical assistant program at Lone Star College, Kingwood. I will complete that program in the beginning of June. Looking ahead to my future, I hope to get into the nursing program to further my education in the medical field and to never have to wonder or worry about how I'll provide for my girls. I strive every single day to make my husband proud of our girls and me. We have come so far in more ways than I ever thought we could. They are my reasons for pushing forward, even when throwing in the towel seemed like the easier option. I hope to be able to show my children or anyone else looking for some type of inspiration to better themselves that having faith and never losing it, even in the deepest valleys, will carry you far and create beauty from ashes. Never forget how capable you are, and I'm rooting for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie, for your vulnerability and for sharing your touching story. Your girls are so lucky to have you as a mother and a role model, and I have absolutely no doubt that your husband is looking down and he is incredibly proud of you. And now for our final speaker, Gabriel.
Hello, my name is Gabriel. What an honor to be here. I will try to contain this excitement I have within me. I earned my GED in December at the young age of 45, and what a crazy adventure it's been. I still vividly remember that I thought it was an impossible task to earn my GED. And like many of you, I started this journey because I felt that I was capable of more. I'd grown tired of accepting my circumstances due to those choices of my younger self. And many of us have had to face our fears and doubts in pursuing this dream of ours. My personal fear I had to face was that giant called math. And to be honest, I would have much rather faced the hieroglyphics of ancient Egypt than the quadratic formula. And slopes? I never knew that it was more than just a term that skiers would use to sound cool. You see, I stopped learning math in the 5th grade, so I knew I had to study hard for this test. But I also knew I lacked the confidence. So testing came, and the first question showed up on the screen, and my mind went completely blank. I failed that test, and I felt utterly defeated. It seemed hopeless for me. I started to make excuses like I can't retain that much information or math was just too hard for me. A year would pass before I would try again. And I had grown frustrated with my career of 20 years. Luckily, my wife encouraged me to face that giant. I listened and I started the process of studying again. And this time around, I changed things up a little bit. I started to appreciate those small victories. For instance, when I would get a difficult problem right, I would go and brag and celebrate with my family. So my second attempt came to face math, and it was the last of the subjects I needed. And you can say I had an epiphany this time around. I said to myself, just do the math. I didn't want to be overwhelmed with all the symbols, numbers, and letters. And also, I prayed several times that my fear and anxiety will take a back seat. So, as I walked towards the testing center, I said to myself, just do the math as my cadence. So after the test was finished, I felt more confident. I knew I had a fighting chance because I followed the process that would lead me closer to the right answer. So when I got the notification that my test score was in, I looked at my score and I became very emotional because I did it. I passed. I overcame my giant, and I was now a GED graduate. That's why it's such an extraordinary accomplishment for us GED graduates. Because when difficulties came our way, we didn't stop fighting. Many of us had to persevere through adversity. We had to go through barriers. And when there was roadblocks in front of us, we didn't abandon this goal. Rather, we paved a new road with dedication and courage to achieve this great milestone in our lives. And for me personally, I have never experienced the elation of being a graduate. Heck, I didn't even get to experience my 8th grade promotion. But the joy of being a GED graduate, it's been truly amazing. To make my family proud, I can't quantify what it means. And I found this new confidence in my abilities. This year, I'm going to pursue my data analytics degree. And also, I'm no longer just a dreamer. I'm now a dream chaser because I'm that much closer to finishing my first book to become an author. We GED graduates have overcome our fears and doubts. We have defeated our giants. We have proven to the world, to our family, and to ourselves that nothing is impossible for us. And what's next? It's unlimited. We have unlimited opportunities in front of us. So congratulations, GED graduate, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thanks, Gabriel. From someone who missed their 8th grade promotion to getting your GED at 45, you are proof that no matter the age, it is never too late to go back to school. And I know that you are inspiring many people, many dreamers out there to become dream chasers too. Thank you again to Dr. Rice, Fina, Katie, and to Gabriel for your incredible speeches. You each represent yourselves, your family, and the class of 2023 with such grace and inspiration. Thank you for sharing your stories. We recognize that beginning something is difficult, but you have proven that even the most difficult of things can still be done despite your circumstances. And today begins your next chapter. So whether you're now off to college, applying for a new job, or seeking that promotion, know that you have an entire community supporting you. Congratulations to the class of 2023. You did it. And now, before we conclude, we have one final video.
Class of 2023, I did it.
I did it. I did it.
I did it.
I did it.
I did it.
I did it.
I did it.
I did it. Class of 2023.
I did it.
Lo logré.
I did it. I got my GED.
And I did it.
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 I finally did it.
I did it.
I finally did it.
Lo logré.
I did it.
I did it.
I did it. I got my GED.
I did it.
Class of 2023. Hey.
Woo, got that high school equivalency.
I did it. Yay, me.
Thank you all again for joining us today for our first ever virtual commencement ceremony. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Again, congratulations, class of 2023. You did it. Thank you.